Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Motorsport Manager. This is episode number 24. We're at Guildford, aka Silverstone, for the British Grand Prix. It is qualifying. We're all set to go. I was able to get max to 98%. Not quite perfect. We got 2 purples, 1 green. But Jean-Eric Vergne, for the first time in a long time, we actually did manage to get the perfect setup at 100%. You can see the 1 speed balance just slightly off for max, but 98% is definitely solid. So we're ready to go. We're going to take qualified, but we're going to do so quickly, and here is why. I mentioned this at the end of the last episode. We're going to start upping the pace. Specifically, by that I mean that we are going to start doing 2 races per episode for the remainder of this season. So we've got a lot to cram in, so we're going to speed things up. And we're also going to get Vergne out there for his initial run. So I will use the auto on feature. Vergne caught up in a little bit of traffic there. Verstappen, not a bad time, but at 3 seconds down, yeah, he's a little bit off the pace. He is ahead of Vergne. Vergne, a little bit better there, 0.3 quicker, and we are 19 and 22 after the first round. So it's a minute 16, meaning it's going to take close to 2 minutes, a little less than, to go ahead and make it around. So we'll do 2:30 and 2:15 for the second laps. And while it's clear, let me go ahead and get Vergne out there as well. We might be a little early this time, but at least we'll be in clean air. No traffic around us. That could really help us get a decent time. Final minute of the session. A lot of cars not coming out again. Alright, so here we go. We'll slow down a little bit. Verstappen already on hot lap. He's about to end the first sector. He is green in sector 1, improving his time. Currently he's P23. Vergne is 19. 4 of these guys on in laps. So none of them could change their time. Vergne is white sector 1, so he's a little off the pace. Verstappen looking to improve his time. Could move up the order here. Come on, Max. Come on. No threats around us. It's all about whether we can move up or not. And Max Verstappen is going to go nowhere. Really? Max, green in both the first 2 sectors. You can't finish the job. Nor does Vergne. So we're going to end up starting from P19 and P24. 2 Williams out, 21-22. One of the Audis out in 23rd. One of the Alphas out in 20th. And it's Timo Glock for Mercedes who goes fastest here in Q1. Alright, as per usual, I will go ahead and speed through Q2 and Q3 just so we can see who's eliminated and ultimately where they'll start from. Plus, it only takes a handful of seconds anyway. Hamilton fastest, first time out. Vettel second quickest. Keep an eye on the sector times. Oh, they don't even come out for another attempt. 1 lap was enough for them. Hulkenberg, Perez, Cassidy, Magnussen, Norris, and Rosberg eliminated in Q2. Raikkonen in the Alpha is able to make it out and into Q3. Dangerous position there. As the Alfa Romeos obviously are one of the teams to keep an eye on in our competition for not being at the bottom of the league and finishing high enough. Hamilton fastest, First time out. Everybody should be coming out again this time. Back markers not improving time. Sainz moves up a little bit. Hamilton again goes quickest. Second time out. And he's going to be on pole by nearly half a second over Vettel. Glock takes third. Bottas fourth. Ocon and Gasly fifth and sixth, with Ricciardo, as per norm, best of the rest. And with that, we move on to Sunday, on to race day. Big race on the calendar, but of course, for us, just looking to grab points, any points we can get our hand on. Anytime we can get 15th or above. Now, what we're looking at in terms of the race is a one-stopper, but it's not going to be medium to medium. It'll be medium to soft. But because we're going to spend more time on the medium tire, far more laps, 15, 20 laps extra comparatively to the soft, that's where we need that time bonus so we don't lose too much time and then have it be irrelevant what we do with the soft. So we're going to go on the mediums, but there still should be enough of an advantage to having the soft tire, soft compound later in the race, that it does warrant switching. But if they don't make it the distance I expect them to, then we can just go mediums to the end and we at least still have the bonus. So we'll start on the mediums and then see how long they take us and see if they'll get far enough to get us onto those soft tires. Otherwise, like I said, we'll just stick with what we've got, the mediums, if they don't last long enough. And the mediums will easily do a one-stopper. No doubt about that one. In fact, we would be able to push pretty hard and make the one-stopper work on the mediums, but that'll depend on the laps and how we're going. But with that, we're ready to go racing here in England. 5 red lights are up. And out we ride with Verstappen, really slow off the line. But Verne, meanwhile, much better for him. Oh my goodness, why won't it give me Verne? Nope, that's Norris. Okay, Verstappen up a spot to 23rd. Verne, good start for him, up to 17th, 16th in that range. He's got the 2 Williams right beside him, so they end up with a good start as well. We are sandwiched around Wickens and Kubica. Make another move there. That is the Ferrari of Bottas, who's had an awful start. He started from 4th place, and he's down to 16th. Verne can't make that pass stick around the outside, especially with the speed of the Ferrari. Ferrari's going to go 3 wide to try to recover 2 positions. He's got one of them. He's got the other now, and he's looking to gain an additional. We're down to 17th here, right behind the McLaren, who also had a poor start to this race. It is Hamilton in the lead. It is Timo Glock, who had temporarily taken the lead before Hamilton recovered it. So Glock went from 3rd to 2nd. Grosjean all the way up to 3rd, and Vettel, after a poor start, is in P4. Leclerc, fantastic start by him, puts him up into P5. Ocon and Gasly, same order they were in, but a spot down from where they started. Stroll in 8th, Sainz, Magnussen. Bottas has already recovered to 11th. And that's your top 11 together. Raikkonen, the one that's missing, and down the order. So Raikkonen could be having a difficult race with the extra pit stop. Now, in terms of the medium compound, Hülkenberg is the only other driver in the field who is using that strategy. So we are very much on an isolated strat. You've got a lot of cars on the slower hard compound trying to make a one-stopper work, but we're going to easily make a one-stopper work with a quicker compound. The softs, they don't last that long. You'll be lucky to get 20 laps out of them. Should be more like high teens. 17, 18 maybe. Fuel burn's good so far. We're not that far down, 3 laps in. Tire heating is perfect. Now, I'm not going to skip forward to the end of the race, but I will speed up for a few laps until we see things settle down. Verne recovers position now in 18th. That is Raikkonen now ahead of us. going back. He's on worn soft tires and really struggling for pace now that we're into the race. He's quick in qualifying, but ugly defensive work there by Vern. He's looking to attack, and instead Cassidy in the Toro Rosso gets around. Don't ask me at the moment because I've already forgotten what it is. Here's Max Verstappen, who has now recovered himself up into 20th, but Vern, nice move there to get up into 18 and recover that spot over Wickens. And now it's the Renault we're looking at. Where did he come from? He's backing out quick. That's Hulkenberg. And we might have that one. Still battling it out. The pace of the Renault better than ours, and he pulls back ahead on the straight. Lap 6, and now we're starting to get into overheating. So let me back off. Will neutral do it? I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. Let's also back off here. I don't think it will. We need to go conserve for just a little bit. Get those tires in the right heating zone. This could be bad for positioning, and it does appear to be so. We're losing the car in front a little bit. Vern loses 2 positions just about here. There we go, Vern. Good move there to get back ahead of Wickens and hang on to that spot. Meanwhile, Verstappen also gets himself back to 21st. We got 3 of those hard compounds behind us in the slower cars. Meanwhile, Hamilton at the front has a 7-second lead over his teammate, who's then a few seconds ahead of Vettel, who's now back up into 3rd, Grosjean 4th, Leclerc 5th, Stroll up to 6th, Ocon and Gasly struggling in the Red Bulls, Bottas all the way back up to 8th place already, now 7th place. Boy, he is making his way through the field pretty well. Well, it's 11 laps. That's to be expected in a Ferrari. But the front 3 have pulled well away from the rest of the field, and even Grosjean's got a little bit of a gap in the Haas. But we are in a tight pack from 13th to 24th right now, with an upper midfield and a lower backmarker field. Just the 2 cars that are well slow in Kubica and Verline, but nobody has had a problem yet. No collisions, no damage, no inquiries by the FIA. We're just going. We're just racing. This is the cleanest race I think I've seen in this mod thus far. I mean, we're 13 laps in, and there's been nothing. First stop is Romain Grosjean. He's going to relinquish his excellent P4, drop back to P12. That's still not a bad spot coming out in the midfield after a pit stop. He's going to come out on the soft tire again with those 20 or so laps, and then 20 or so laps. He might just make it 18, 19. Depends on how long he can make those tires work. But he could have a 2-stopper on softs, potentially. And that might not be a bad way to go. There's definitely a time difference between each of the compounds here as you're going soft, medium, hard. It's not like ultras, supers, and softs, which are quite similar. Okay, we have fuel, and we've got a little gap in front, so maybe it's time to switch this up, cool it off just a little bit more, just to make sure we're not doing any needless tire wear. And we're starting to see some pits from the other front runners, so here over the next couple laps we'll have them all coming out, and some of them coming out behind us. Magnussen in the other Haas is in P21, just behind Verstappen. But at 19 and 21, we're well short of the points at this point. Yes, I know we're a spot ahead of that with Magnussen coming out in the pits, but that's virtual, not actual. Alright, now the tires are good again, and we go back to neutral, and I'm going to go ahead and speed things up to the later stages of this race. I'll see you back for the final laps. So after Raikkonen had just passed us, Raikkonen spun out a few car lengths in front of us, and Max had nowhere to go. He spun out directly in our pathway. So Verstappen collided with Raikkonen. It's busted our front wing, but it was also on our in lap. So we were literally headed to the pits as it was. We're going to try to rush this one. Hopefully there's no mistake. So far so good, and that's a successful stop. The only sad thing is we've got the additional time, and we have the potential of some sort of issue, but it looks like we're in the clear. We're not under investigation anymore. So Max down to 23rd, Vern in 21st after their pit stops. Vern pit 3 laps ago, and we did go ahead and switch to the soft compound. That should get us to the end. And speed things back up. We're well down the order, but let's see as others pit. Kubica, Verline, Rosberg again, Norris, Cassidy, Ericsson, Hulkenberg could all help boost us, push us up the order a little bit. Ricardo might not make it to the end. Gasly's not going to make it to the end. Perez still needs to pit, but I think Perez, Gasly, Hulkenberg are too far forward. The others, Ericsson on back, that's 4 or 5 positions, depending on which guy you're looking at, that we should be moving up, and that puts us just outside of the points. So we'll see how we're looking as this race comes to an end, and if we have enough pace to make some passes out on track and not just through pit stop. Still running 21-23. Wickens is 30 seconds behind in 24th right now. There you go. Ericsson and Cassidy both pitting. Vern is going to get ahead of both of them. Verstappen is about 6 seconds behind. So Verstappen was just behind Vern when Vern did his in-lap. And you can see he's a good 9 seconds back now. So between the collision and the new front wing, Verstappen lost significant time. Vern is caught up in a battle right now. Let's see if we can help him with that, and also check in with him and see if he can stay ahead of the Toro Rosso of Cassidy, who is right on his tail. And in the meantime, try to get around the used tires of the Red Bull, who of course would help out the Toro Rosso if he could. B teams might not be a thing, but they are obviously a thing and have been for years. It's weird that everybody argues about Haas maybe being a B team to Ferrari, and yet Red Bull's had the clearest B team for ages. Well, many years anyway. That's Verline just ahead of us. Verline has not pit yet. Oh, no, no, no. Here comes Ericsson with fresh tires. There we go. We got ahead of our line. That's good. Let's go ahead and cool that down. And also, ooh, fuel. Fuel. We may get lapped again before the end, but I do not think so. We're just 6 laps from the end. And those guys are going to pit very late. Verstappen, where are you in relation to Hamilton? You're in a dangerous position. Yellow flags, Sector 2. Wickens collides with Glock. We need that fuel just in case. Let's get back with Vern, who's in that better position. Might still get to the points. Oh, another! Cassidy spins. And Vern hits the brakes hard in front of him. Hopefully these guys don't follow Bottas through, who's recovered up to 5th place after his first lap woes. Hamilton has lapped all but 6 cars. Yellow flag for Sector 1, but I didn't see who or what. Just that Verstappen set a personal best. Approaching the end of this one. Vern now in 17th. Everybody has pit. But Rosberg, finally the Ferrari gets back. Vern, oh, hello, that was close. Bottas ran wide. No. Ignore. Let's go down to ×2 here for the final few laps. We have a battle on our hands. And Leclerc and Ricciardo both pitting, but they're probably too far up. I need Rosberg or Raikkonen to pit. How are those two making it to the end? I don't see how they've been able to go used softs and then to mediums and make that work. I suppose we've got 53% for Verstappen anyway. He's easy on tires, and it's showing. But his poor start to the race has cost him, plus that collision with Raikkonen, who somehow has benefited here. Cassidy collides with Ericsson. That's behind us. Verstappen could benefit from it, but we're still 2 positions out of the points. And the last lap has started, but we still have 2 to go. That's the Red Bull again. That's Ocon in 4th place. Our former driver, who ran a swap after we stole Max away. Final lap of the race. Gotta keep an eye on that fuel. Starting to overheat those tires, but we'll still get a little bit of pace out of them until they max out. Vern attacking, 1/3 of a lap to go, but he's not going to get higher than 17th. He's 5 seconds behind Norris. Raikkonen across the line, 14th. Rosberg looking for the last points paying position. He's got it. No, Norris took it on the line. We cut it down to 6 seconds there at the end, as Rosberg had nothing left in those tires, so Norris came flying through. They were slow at the end. They were very slow at the end, and we pulled back about 8 seconds on the last couple laps, but we were too far behind. Without that pit stop, nothing we could do, and we ended up missing the points. P17, unless 2 cars have been found to break the rules. Just 5 cars finishing on the lead lap. We both finished 1 lap down. Verstappen nearly got lapped a 2nd time. Glock had a 10-second penalty. Hamilton pole and fastest lap, so he's going to get 34 points. He gets 4 bonus points. And no change. Max did end up with a drive-through penalty. Okay. I missed that. No wonder he was still behind him. Wickens, double penalties. That's what set him back so far. Not a bad race, but not a good race. No help, no luck. I mean, there was barely any penalties in the field. Only a couple collisions. Both my drivers got caught behind somebody who spun. One avoided the collision because he had a little time to react. One couldn't avoid it and then gets penalized for it. So we were the ones who were unlucky this time out. Vettel leads the overall championship, but Hamilton closing that gap. Bottas moves ahead of Gasly for 3rd. Glock has not had a good start to the season, has he? Just 8th place in the point standings. Gasly and Ocon battling it out for that best of the rest. Gasly's just 2 points down behind Bottas at this point. And it's not Ricciardo, but Carlos Sainz, who holds the honor of best of the rest right now, and both of them have the honor of being ahead of one of the Mercedes. But we're level with Williams. We're 6 points behind Audi. We are clear of Alpha, but we are still definitely in a danger zone. Racing Point on back, all kind of struggling for points. But at the moment, we are 5th of the 6 teams that make up the back of the field. In between Silverstone and Munich, we have a new vote, and it's points for just the top 8. That's only a third of the field, and that's back to the old days. I really don't want that one, especially as we are struggling. So why anybody's for that at all, I don't know, but we're going to strongly vote against that one with voting power. I don't see how that benefits Progressive. Small teams find it difficult to score points. Yeah, that's not Progressive. That's old school. No, that is not Progressive. I don't see how that's progressive at all. Uh, 6-6. Oh, come on. Shantat just screwed us over. Something fierce. Oh, I am not happy with this at all. Not one bit. Our new rear wing has been built. Very disappointed now. That has a far-reaching impact on this series. Alright, we want 25 to max. That's 35. That's 75 overall. And there's nothing to gain from here except for the occasional setup where it works. Meaning this is the last one we're going to build. Hamilton's going to start from pole. Vettel on, alongside him in row 1, Bottas and Glock, row 2, Ocon, Gasly, row 3. We're going to be starting from 19th and 24th. We're going to have the same strategy as last time, and we are in Germany. München Grand Prix, and Verstappen. A little slow off the start, but not too bad. Vern gets a really good start. We're 4 wide, though, and Verstappen gets squeezed, but somehow finds the only gap that there is to move forward, and he's up into P17. Vern, meanwhile, in P22, not looking too bad. Verstappen getting squeezed to the outside at the moment, though. Could go bad for us if he doesn't find a way through, and he was really slow on the exit with the traffic that he had to deal with, and now he's going to have to battle back through the chicane, up into P18 to the inside to make another move, just about 3 wide there. And he's into 17th. He'll have the inside again for this one. Can he make it stick? He does. There's 3 wide ahead. What can he do with that opportunity? I don't know. We are the only cars on the medium compound. Everybody else has gone hard or soft. Similar number of laps, similar number of lifespan of these tires. So we run 18 and 20 at the moment. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to speed things up because we only have about 17 minutes to try to get through the whole race. I'd like to do that live without any more cuts. So we'll see if we can do this whole race instead of skipping part of it. Vettel has the early race lead, a second ahead of Hamilton. Ricciardo's in third. Sainz, Glock, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Ocon, Stroll, and Perez are the top 10. From 17th and 19th, we're not in a bad position at this point. Tires just now heating up after 3 laps. Kubica with a lockup. And Verstappen having a look around the McLaren, and oh, I thought he was going to have it, but the Haas blocks him off in the end and forces him backwards. That was Grosjean who got it our way just as we were about to pull in front of the McLaren. The Haas kind of brake checked us a little bit there, and Verstappen again having a look, and this time making it stick. Next up is the Williams, and he almost immediately gets up beside him through the chicane and around the outside and into 15th. Real difference between these mediums and those hards, or so it seems. But as things are heating up, we've got to back off. I know on neutral we can make it for a while. And speaking of, let's now make a bit of a run for a while. We are going to have to back off on the fuel before too long, but we've got fuel to burn. It's okay. We'll take the position. Vern's a little bit further down the order, so I'll back him off first. Ocon with a crash. Sector 1, yellow flag, and there you go. Ocon out of the race. And we are up into 12th and 16th. Finally a crash. Gasly has stopped already. I don't know if he was caught in that. Was it teammates? Was it Red Bull on Red Bull? It certainly could be. Ricardo's days at Red Bull seemed to be numbered the moment he and Verstappen became an unstoppable force and an immovable object and collided with one another, especially in Baku, where I don't know why people still try to throw blame with Verstappen on that one. Oh, that's right, because Ricardo is loved. He broke way too late. He got into him. And Norris crashes in the same place. That's 2 cars out of the race, and that gives us a better chance of getting up into the points. Right now, 11th and 14th. Fuel back in a good state. 14 laps in. Things are looking nice so far. Front runners are going to pit very soon, and we could benefit from that at the moment. We could see ourselves up into about 4th place, maybe. Something we have not seen for a long time. Alright, these guys are going to pit soon. I would like to be in a stronger position to come out ahead of some of them. So from 10th and 14th, and there you go. Leclerc has pit, Grosjean has pit. They're both coming out well behind us. Even Vern, who is 12 seconds down on his teammate. By the way, new upgrade, rear wing. Not in the best of shape yet. Gasly crashes in the same place, and that's the 2nd Red Bull out of this race. Red Bull will finish at the back. No points today. Anyway, the new rear wing. The condition is not great. Did not want to risk it for Verstappen. Vern, meanwhile, runs a car with lower reliability. So I was willing to take the risk for that. So for a change, Vern has a better part on his car than Verstappen, helping balance that out a little bit. But it wouldn't look like it right now with 17 seconds being the gap and a fairly big gap in the tire wear here. More pits are taking place. Vettel retakes the lead, but he pit a while ago to undercut Hamilton. Hamilton with the fresh tires could make his way back towards Vettel, just 6.5 seconds behind. Bottas 3rd. Hulkenberg has not pit. Ricardo, Glock, and Sainz have all come out ahead. Perez, 19 seconds. I think we would get Perez, but Perez is not going to be pitting soon. Hulkenberg, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. Stroll's just behind us. He's on fairly fresh, soft tires. Raikkonen and Wickens have not pit. They're both in between us. Grosjean pitting and repairing a problem, so that's going to take him a little while. Puts him down to last place. Let's go back into fuel-saving mode. Now, where are we in relations to the leader? Wow, they're coming hard and fast, and that's already after a stop. So we are going to get lapped again. And we've still got some time here before we need to pit. But looking at Vern, he looks like he's only got a handful of laps left. 28's halfway. He's going to have to get into the mid-30s. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Vern is going to be coming back out on another set of mediums. Verstappen will assess as he gets closer to that point. 28%. Now halfway into the race. 26. Hulkenberg pit came out ahead of Verstappen. So we run 9 and 13 with pit stops coming. Max just now hits that 30% threshold. And let's see, Vern, half a lap to go, 22%. Let's do it. Just past halfway, so we're going to come back out on mediums. That new rear wing actually doing really well. It's hanging in there at 59%. Brakes, a bit worn in this one. Actually quite a bit worn. I did do tire change. Yes, medium's good. Give me a good half an in lap here. He's going to move all the way to the back from this. But most of the cars behind us are on that hard compound and will be slower. And for a while. Magnussen is about to come in, even though he's on the hard compound as well. His tires are in really bad shape. Looks like he might have flat spotted. He's going to pit at the same time. We have a good pit crew. It should be enough to keep us ahead of Magnussen. It's a good stop, and yes, it is. And he actually is going to gain just a little bit of time there, and he comes out ahead of the other Haas. But can he hold it? And he does. So ahead of Grosjean. I like it. But a lap down, so let's not overdo the tires, not overdo that battle. But Vern's in 19th ahead of Magnussen and Grosjean. Verstappen, meanwhile, he's at 26%. Start pushing towards an in-lap, but we're not on an in-lap yet. 25 laps to go. Verstappen's going to come around here. He's at 24%. I think next lap will be his time. That'll give him 23 laps to go. Do I want to squeeze one more? Is 22 going to be enough to get us to the end on that soft compound? It might. It might. Yes, we have the bonus with the mediums, and we're decently quick on them. But it's not like we can push and heat them up, so a tire that's naturally quicker might not be a bad thing. But I don't know if I want to try to stretch. We're at 23% and about to come around, so one more lap might only cost us a couple seconds and could be what we needed to get us to the distance on softs instead of mediums. So we're going to give Verstappen one more lap here. One more lap. We're only going to push, not just full attack. And we'll give it a shot. 22 laps. 23 still, actually. Because it's 24 now. It'll be 23. Look at that difference, though. I mean, we're talking a full star in performance. At 15%. Let's see, what is 5 stars? That's 20%. That's not that big of a difference, is it? 20% versus 15%. 5% bonus, which is what I'm going for comparatively. But not enough durability. Let's just go with the mediums. Let's be safe, which makes me wish I would have pit this lap, but that's okay. I'd rather have done that one extra lap now, have plenty of tire wear at the end of the race, be 5% slower, but just be certain that we get to the end. That 5% boost, it'll be a few seconds at the end, but then I could lose more than those few seconds. If we had one fewer lap to go, I think I'd try it. If it was 22, if it was 21, we go for it. And speed things up. Here comes Max in the pits. We'll go ×2 speed through this. It's a good stop. It looks like he was kind of hanging there for a little while though. 2.5 seconds. And we come out right behind the front two cars and get into the middle of it. Let's not do that. Max, let them have their race. Max is a lap down, and he comes out in 12th place, still in the points, and good to go to the end. Also, 4 cars behind, all going to pit. 2 cars ahead, still need to pit. Stroll's going to pit again. Perez still needs to pit. Looking good. Looking good. Max should be in the points today. Vern, not so sure about him yet. There are 5 cars ahead of him that need to pit. He will move ahead of. There's 2 or 3 more that he's got a chance at, but I don't quite think he'll be in position on those cars. So from P12, P20, a little over a straight between them. Bottas pits, comes out in 5th. That's his 2nd stop, final stop of the day. Ricardo going strong for the Renault in 4th. Could go the distance, maybe. But the front 3 runners all going to pit, and just 1 second separating Vettel and Hamilton. Vettel pits. Vettel pits. He pits a lot earlier. Remember, they were on different strategies there. Hamilton caught up to Vettel but could not get around him. Will those fresh tires be enough next time? 15 laps to go. Verstappen still at 12th. We've caught up to Wickens. Wickens still has not pit in this race, so we will definitely be ahead of him before the end. Raikkonen and Perez, that's the iffy one. Perez, I don't think we're going to catch Perez. Perez has more than 30 seconds on us. Kubica is pitting now. Raikkonen, that's the one that's going to be close. We'll definitely get Wickens. Those guys, will Vern get ahead of them? He does. He's up to 18th now. Can he get into the points? Wickens is the iffy one. Ericsson, Verline, he'll beat them. Grosjean might not make it the distance on those tires. If he doesn't, that'll be huge for us. Vern in traffic. Let's go ahead and check in on that battle at ×4 speed. Let's push for a little bit. Let's try to get through this traffic. Otherwise things could get really ugly for us, like dropping behind Robert Kubica in the Williams that is only slightly faster than us, where you've got a massive driver advantage that should more than make up for the car that's only slightly faster than yours. That's the 5th place car. But this is now the 20th place car of Cassidy behind you, also on fresh tires. Soft tires. Vern caught in a battle here that he is not winning. He's come out the ultimate loser. He's lost 2 places, is now in last. 3 of those guys might be good to go to the end. 2 of them definitely are. 2 of them still need to pit, but in trying to pass the one car who does need to pit, Vern goes backwards. Verline pits. Okay, there's 1 spot back. Come on, finish the move, finish the move, finish the move. There you go. Oh, don't let him right back past you. Go, go, go. Attack, Vern. Attack, attack, attack. McLaren's not for position. That's Sainz in 6th place. About 47 of 56. We've recovered to 18th. Verstappen is 12th. Wickens hasn't pit. Perez hasn't pit. We're back ahead of... Well, that didn't last long. A step away from the battle for just a second. You were a second and a half ahead of Rosberg, and he goes around. 25%. Boy, that could ruin his race. I don't think Vern's going to do enough to get into the points, especially with all those guys just pitting and coming out near us. Or ahead of us. How did that happen? Ericsson and Verline are behind, and that's it. Oh, and then we ultimately lost Cassidy, Kubica, and Rosberg when we were ahead of all three. We should be in 16th. So, we focus now on Verstappen. Vern only has 2 positions to lose, so we'll pit if we need. I'll keep that open for the short term. Sainz probably will pit, but he's way ahead of us. Everybody else looks like they're good to go to the end. So Perez and Raikkonen, we did not get them. In fact, they've got big gaps. We're 14 seconds behind Raikkonen. I think Raikkonen just had a problem because we were a lot more than 14 seconds just a moment ago. I think Raikkonen might have spun. Something he does late in races a lot on this game. Leclerc's 12th. Just a second behind us. That's the Toro Rosso. He's coming with a vengeance, and we do not have much fuel to burn. We need to save some of this for late when he gets close. Just like we need to save this. At 51. Vettel in the lead. Hamilton did pit. He's on much, much fresher tires than Vettel is, and he's back within 2 seconds now. Bottas has dropped off and may have to pit a third time, possibly before the end, or he'll lose some pace. Glock could get him just a second behind. Ricciardo might have to pit. He might not make it to the end. Magnussen might not make it to the end. Rosberg just must have collided with somebody. He's flat spotted. His tire is really bad. Vern is now 18th. Grosjean pit, but not looking likely to get into the points. Here is Leclerc now. We've got that little bit of fuel again. Let's start using it so we can try to hold him off. We do have the ability to push, but I want to save it. We're going to go down to times 2 for the last few laps here. Max in 11th. Not looking like he's going to go up. Bottas does pit. He gives up 3rd position, but he'll come out still in 4th. No, 5th. By the time he actually gets back out on track, he is in 5th place. Ricciardo ahead of him. Or he had a problem right after coming out. Could be the case. Rosberg pits. So his flat spot forces him to pit. But Vern, only 18th. Grosjean got around him when that all happened. Go to use that fuel. 11%. That should hold for 2 laps. Max in no man's land. We're way, way behind Raikkonen. Ricciardo pits, comes out in 5th. Vettel, I don't think he's going to pit, and his tires shouldn't fall off that bad. He's got 3.5 seconds. He should come out as the race winner. Meanwhile, Max hanging on to 11th, starting the last lap of the race. It's time to attack. That is Timo Glock. That is not for position. That's Timo Glock looking to lap us, which means only the first 2 cars have gotten around Verstappen. 3rd one has yet to go around him. That's a good race for us to be that high up the order. Can we hold out against the Mercedes just for bragging rights? 1 sequence of turns to go, and through the final corner, final straight, and we do it. 11th place. Not bad, not bad. We hold off Leclerc as well. Now back to Vern. Vern, whatever you got left. Attack, attack, attack. From P18, that's going to be it. No points for Vern, but at least Verstappen does a decent job getting in the points with 11th place. Vettel takes the win. Hamilton takes 2nd. Glock, Bottas, Ricciardo, and Hülkenberg. Both Red Bulls DNF in this one, and that's part of what helped get us up the order. Those 2 certainly would have been in the top 10. check out the standings here real quick, see how we're doing. That's 5 points for Verstappen. Hamilton gets pole and fastest lap, so he only ends up 1 point behind Vettel. And halfway through the championship, we have 23 combined points. Verstappen in 16th. He has all but 2 of our points. Vern's struggling a lot. And that moves us up a spot back into 10th place and just 1 point behind Audi, who got most of their points in the season in the first race. They've done very, very little in the last 7. We've got every chance to get ahead of them because the first race is chaotic. A lot of DNFs. So I don't expect Audi to score much more this season. Alpha's not scoring much. Williams is getting piecemeal, little points here and there, which is kind of what we're getting. But I think ultimately we can pull away from those 3 before too long. Looks like Racing Point is starting to emerge as the best of the backmark crowd. Haas also consistently getting up into the points. They might be difficult to outscore, so maybe 9th place is our target, but we'll see. For now, 23 points. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.